Hey everybody, it's Jay Roby. I'm going to be starting a new video series focusing on Bobby Fischer's openings. And the reason I'm doing this is because I want to get better at how I play my openings, and I feel that looking at his matches and how he handles his openings is a good way to start. So these videos are going to be short. I'm only going to cover the opening segment of the matches. I'm not going to go through the whole match, so really I'm going to be covering maybe the first 10 to 13 move segments of each match. This particular one has Fischer against Bent Larsen from 1971 in Denver, and Fischer uses his King's Pawn opening. So I'm going to be doing a number of these videos because I'm focusing right now. I've been using the King's Pawn a lot in my online play, and I want to learn not only how to play it effectively as white, but also how to play against it as black. So we're going to be looking at a number of Fischer matches with King Pawns opening on white, and then I'm going to also cover some matches with Fischer as black and how he handled King Pawn openings. And then also, if I come across some good matches and good openings from other variations that Fischer used, I'll definitely cover those as well. But I definitely like your feedback here on this. If you think that the videos are good, like just looking at the openings, definitely let me know, or if you think that they're not that helpful, let me know as well. So we'll get started here. So Fischer's white, and he plays King's Pawn. Not a big surprise there. It was one of his favorite openings. And in this match, Larsen uses the French. So he goes pawn to e6. So Fischer plays pawn to d4, which is what I've been doing a lot on my online King's Pawn openings against French as well. And Larsen plays now pawn to d5. Now Fischer's got a couple options here. He could take the pawn here, and then Larsen could either take back with the pawn or the queen, depending on what he wanted to do. But Fischer doesn't do that right away. He plays knight to c3, so he's actually defending the pawn on e4. Larsen responds by bishop to b4, so he's attacking the knight, pinning it to the king. And what Fischer plays here is he plays pawn now to e5, so he's taken the burden of protecting that pawn away from the knight. And Larsen responds by going knight to e7. Good development move here, getting that knight on the board. And Fischer plays now pawn to a3, attacking the bishop. He wants to get that knight out of there. Larsen takes, and Fischer takes back, doubling up his pawns on the c file. Now, from my experience, having doubled up pawns on the c file or the f file, from what I've experienced, generally they don't stay doubled up for very long. So I can only assume that Fischer, was thinking the same thing, that it wasn't really a huge drawback to double up those pawns at this point in the match. So right now we're on movement segment 6. So after that, Larsen plays pawn to c5, so he's attacking the d4 pawn now with the c pawn, meaning that he could maybe come away with using a c pawn to take away a center pawn, but Fischer's pawns are doubled up here. So Fischer actually doesn't want to take there because this would be a good opportunity to undouble up his pawns. So he plays pawn to a4. Larsen responds now with knight to c6, so he's attacking both Fischer's pawns here. Fischer replies knight to f3, so he's now defending those pawns, and the pawns are defending themselves as well. And Larsen plays bishop now to d7, preparing to open up access to this bishop. And Fischer plays his bishop now to d3. So from here, Larsen plays queen now to c7. Fischer castles, and Larsen attacks Fischer's bishop. So we're on move segment 10 here. So we're getting pretty much to the middle game here. So what we'll do is we'll just we'll look at the next two moves from both players. So Fischer plays bishop back to e2, and Larsen now plays pawn to f6. So this is basically how Fischer worked through the opening against Larsen using the French with his King's Pawn. And if we just rapidly flip through the next moves here, Fischer's gets his rook on the e file, and then from here the match just basically progresses with material being fairly equal for each player. At this stage of the game, Fischer is has one bishop captured, and Larsen has a knight and a pawn captured. But it doesn't take long for Fischer to equalize that material out, as we'll see here. I'll just flip through a couple moves. So at this stage of the game here, Fischer's got 6 points of material captured, as does Larsen. So the material's equaled out a little bit. So let's just go back here to the opening where we had this position here. And let's just kind of quickly analyze what each player's capabilities are. So Fischer's got these doubled up pawns, which really probably won't be doubled up for very long. He's also got his knight here. His knight is influencing a number of squares. So that one, that one, that one, and that one, and that one. And he's also got his bishop here that can attack along this diagonal, although this bishop is a little closed in right now. This bishop has total access along this diagonal to access the right side of the board as well as this side of the board. So that's a nice bishop to have there. Although it is a dark square bishop, and most of Larsen's pieces are on light squares at the moment. The queen really doesn't have much to do yet, but as you saw as we flipped through the match, Fischer uses his queen quite well. And the rooks here are Fischer's A1 rook can get access along the b file quite rapidly, and his other rook here is kind of sealed in. However, he has castled and Larsen hasn't. So that's how Fischer handled the French defense in his match versus Larsen. So I felt it was good to go through, and like I said at the beginning, if you feel that seeing how Fischer handled his openings is beneficial, let me know. And if you feel that it's really not any help at all, let me know as well. So take care. Hope you enjoy the video.